I can't lean forward. Yay.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Staff Chat podcast slash video cast, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to just kind of talk and whatever, do the normal, well, I guess normally we don't bring a topic when we're having conversations together, but we're going to do the normal, just kind of us talking. You guys can hang out, ask questions. Feel free to say things in the chat or whatever. We might pull some of you up as a comment or whatever. But I'm Adam. I'm the visual arts director here at Cross Church. John, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm John. I'm the mobilization pastor and the Staunton campus pastor.
Cameron?
Yeah, that usually John and I are flip flop, so
yeah. Gotta switch it up.
I thought I was going still. Yeah, I'm Cameron Lewis. I'm the youth pastor at the Carmel campus.
Eric?
And I'm Eric. I'm the network worship pastor located out of Carmelville.
All right. So tonight we're going to do the same thing we've done the last couple weeks now. So we each have a news article headline and we have a topic. So does anyone in particular want to share theirs first?
We're going news first, right?
Yeah, let's do news first.
Okay.
That's always the fun.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So apologies if you hear my child. Jamie's working the weekend, so we're just hanging out in the living room. She's watching some TV. So welcome to quarantine, right?
And so, parenting. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Both.
The combination. So I found an article. There was a stranded kayaker in New York. The New York PD found him. He was missing for like 12 hours. After 12 hours, they ended up finding him. The way they found him was he had like built like the word help, a giant help, out of sticks and like made a fire. The crazy part or the funny part of the whole thing is they posted a video of him to like Twitter, like the NYPD did. And like it was like thermal almost. And so they couldn't really like depict everything. And so everyone was like just blowing up their Twitter, asking if they found Bigfoot. They found Bigfoot, like, oh, it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. And like you just see this guy like waving his arms and like this giant sign that says help. And they're like, Bigfoot's trying to communicate to us. Like all this stuff. It was just, some of the comments on there were just hilarious. And like the chief like came out with a statement and said like he took social distancing to the extreme, like went to a remote island over in Queens. It was kind of funny.
I feel like kayaking in April in New York would not be pleasurable. Like you're not wanting in the water at all.
No.
Like you have to be extreme to go kayaking in April in New York.
Yeah, and I think that's why he looked like Bigfoot, because he was just like bundled up in like all these clothes, and like he just was like giant and thick from all his jackets and stuff.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem like a smart decision.
No, but I have seen Bigfoot before.
Do tell.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Continue with that story.
Well, let me lead in.
I mean, I've seen your feet too, but you know, I don't know.
Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty convinced it was Bigfoot, but it's a weird story.
I'm pretty convinced it was Bigfoot, he says.
So Brady Fish and I, like best
go.
friends since second grade, we were visiting his brother, which is like our best friends as well, and like just grew up with him. He was in North Carolina. He was stationed there. He was in the Marines, and so we were on our way back, and we were like driving through the night, and it was probably like 2:00, 2:30 in the morning, and between the interstate and Lebanon, we watched Bigfoot run across the road like 40 feet out in front of us.
Okay,
So like this was local.
Yeah.
Like you made it all the way back to Lebanon and you were like, "Oh, Bigfoot lives in Lebanon."
Right.
To clarify, Brent was with you.
No, Brent wasn't there. It's just Brady and I. We were on our way back.
Because my theory was like, yeah, Brent's messing with you.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, it was a weird situation. Like, Brady and I didn't talk for like 30 seconds. Like, it happened, and we were like kind of dumbfounded. And then we were like, "Did you just see what I just saw?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so I told Kyle the other day. This was a while back, but I told Kyle, and I was like, "Dude, I promise." And he was like, "No way." And I was like, "I'll call Brady right now. I haven't had a conversation with him. I haven't talked to him." This was like, we were like maybe seniors in high school. And I was like, "I'll just call him right now, see what he says." Call him up. He literally like verbatim says the story back to me, like word for word. And I was like, "Dude, we saw the same thing." Like, it was weird. I mean, it could have been a dude in like a giant Yeti mask and stilts, but like he like.
Oh, so you were close enough that you saw his face and you knew it was like a Yeti.
No, we were like, it was like 40. It was like 40 yards out. I'm sorry. Hang on, baby. 40 feet out, and it just like 3 strides across the road.
Wow.
Crazy.
All I
Yeah,
got,
everybody.
You have not made us into believers.
jumping across my lane one time. There was like a very large cat that was out in the woods between Gillespie and Litchfield, and Mom and I both saw it. It was in our lane, and it jumped over our trail. So that's all I got. I don't have no Bigfoot stories though.
Yes,
I'm not
Camden,
sure
this
how
is the
much I
Bigfoot
believe
story.
it, but it felt real.
Yeah.
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 So follow that up.
So I'm going to go last on my article today because it leads into what I want to talk about. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
Eric, you got a Florida story?
I do not.
So disappointed.
So, well, I mean, technically, it could be a Florida story, depending on where the astronauts originally took off from. So,
Okay.
with us being in quarantine, I just saw where there were several astronauts that just returned from their trip into space, or I think they were doing like orbit stuff, and they were up there for, one was up for like 207, and the other one, this is off NASA's site, and I believe the other one was up there for pretty much like 9 months. So we want to talk quarantine, man. They ain't going anywhere, depending on how big that ship was, for like 200 and something days. So in perspective, with all of us, maybe groaning about having to stay indoors, at least we can still walk outside. They could not.
Yeah.
But as I went further into the article, which I thought was really like kind of interesting, and there was also a Russian astronaut that came back with him on there, and he had been there 536 days in orbit. And now they're all kind of, in rehabilitation, because obviously with the zero gravity stuff and all that, you got to get used to being back here on Earth. But I just thought that was an interesting story. It was either that or a whole bunch of pink jellyfish in the Philippines right now. So, I mean, yeah.
Have you seen that meme that was like, "Oh, I've missed the last few months. Catch me up on what's happened in 2020," and it like runs through all of the horrible things that have happened in 2020. It's like so unbelievable the way that this year is coming out.
Yeah, it reminds me of because Gabby and I have talked about this because we watch Big Brother, which is I think not going to happen this year because of everything, or it's going to be later. And I know Eric watches it, and so does Cameron. But it was back in 2011, I believe, when 9/11 happened, and they had to like tell the house guests that this had happened. And it's like they've been so far removed from everything, and then they hear something like that, and you can't talk to your relatives. Like, it's just scary. So like somebody like them, I'm sure they're communicating with people, but like if you say would get off and it's like all of a sudden this, like say this was worse and like millions of people had died and whatever, you know, they get home and they're like, holy cow, the world is different, you know, like that would just be crazy.
Well, that brings me to my next point. If they had enough, if you were in that situation and you had enough food and supplies, would you have been like, you know, can we wait just a few more, like another month or so before coming back down and all that?
Did I say 2011, Jamie? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Honestly, though, it does feel like it was only 9 years ago, but it was not.
I knew what you meant.
It's like when you talk about the 90s, and it's like those were 30 years ago now. Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow, I've never thought of that actually.
Yeah. Because you know I'm 28 this year, so.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, and Eric's like 40.
Help me.
Yeah, sorry, Jamie.
I'm not saying anything. So
I know that
I'm
9/11
just
was in
staying
2001. All right, so my article is an article from New Jersey, and it's just talking about like the stuff that people find on the beach, like when they're cleaning up trash. So one of the things lately is they're finding a lot of like empty like Juul cartridges from e-cigarettes, which is pretty sad, but you know, to be expected, I guess. But so here's a list of things that they found that were weird. So a pair of boxer shorts, a turkey baster, plastic vampire teeth, a coconut, an onion, a full jar of pickles, a credit and a debit card, and then also a pregnancy test.
Oh.
And then they found an empty bag of cremated human remains.
Oh my god.
And that was just near the Jersey Shore house.
Yeah, as well as a $6,000 diamond ring that was returned to its owner basically after a teenage girl tracked her down through like the markings on it, which I think was pretty sweet. But
that's crazy.
Some of those items I was like a turkey baster. Why did they have a turkey baster on the beach? Like what would be the purpose of that on a beach?
I feel like that was a fight during a Thanksgiving meal with a New Jersey family.
Oh, I'm doing it wrong. You go do it then, and then throw it right out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, or like a full jar of pickles. Like that person's really probably sad that they forgot their pickles.
Oh, for sure.
a lot of that stuff though probably like washes up on the beach, right?
Yeah,
so you know, full jar of pickles. Like some dude out on his sailboat has like this picnic lunch planned, and his wife elbows the pickles, and they fall off the boat. and then they get into a fight, and she throws the turkey baster at him. He ducks, and it goes into the water. And, you know, there's all great stories that could go with this. But we, you know, when we lived in Japan, one of the things that we would go out and do for fun is we would go and look for sea glass. And so you just go down to the edge of the water wherever you want to go and just walk around and you look for sea glass, and you find all kinds of very strange things that wash up onto the shore. And, you know, like red sea glass is extremely rare, and you can find it some in Japan. But they say that comes from the west coast of the United States, from old cars whose taillights were made from actual glass that have been thrown into the ocean, and the red portions of the glass break and wash up on the other side of the world. So, you know, it's pretty cool, the stuff that you find, and some of that stuff you see is like, you can't believe that people are throwing that in the ocean or dropping it and not picking it up. So,
yeah. I was going to ask what you meant by sea glass, but you explained that.
Yeah, sea glass is amazing. We have tons of it, but it's just kind of that old glass that's kind of been washed all over in the ocean and kind of beaten and trampled, and it has kind of this hazy look on it. It's really cool, and Gretchen loves it, so she's got tons of it. She actually had a lot more. She loaned some of it out for a wedding or something, and then we never got a lot of it back because when we would go on dates, that's what we would go and do. Like we would grab dinner and then we would go out to the beach and look for sea glass, and spend hours out there looking for sea glass. And, the goal is to find, red sea glass or a glass ball that's intact. And you get these big old glass balls that they used to use as essentially a bobber. They would hook their fishing nets onto them, and those glass balls would float, and they would use those. And if, nets got caught up or something, the glass ball would wash away. But finding those intact is pretty rare. That was always our goal, to find one. We always would find bits and pieces of them, but never actually get a whole one.
So now knowing that the glass came from California, I'm going to give the backstory to the pickles.
Oh, yeah.
It happened in Ireland, and it ended up in New Jersey.
There we go.
Jeez.
Oh, are these your pickles?
They're
pickles?
Irish pickles.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, John, what's your article?
Well, my article is staying on the same side of the globe. So the article title is Russian Theater Performing for One Spectator at a Time. Yes. And it's ballet, opera and ballet theater. Streams its performances online, but allows one individual to come and watch the live performance. And if you wanted to be part of it, you submitted an application basically, and they would pick somebody out, and you could come and watch, having just one person live, and then everything else was streamed online. And it's, obviously coronavirus, COVID-19 reasoning for doing that. But it's crazy, right? That they're still doing that.
Yeah, the whole shebang but I mean, it's streaming, but I'd like to know how much those tickets are going for the one individual person.
Is it like you pay for the ticket, or is it like a contest? Like,
it doesn't say if you pay for the ticket or not. I would assume not, but it did say you would fill out your application or whatever online, and then one of the cast members would choose an individual to come and watch.
That's a neat idea.
So, what other things could be done like that?
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
Or could you imagine? And that's not even my topic. That's just what came to mind. But could you imagine going to a concert?
Just one person.
Big name band. You're the only person there to watch, and the rest is streamed online.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I'd love it. Yeah.
Great. I mean, I always thought about this. Like, could you ever be rich enough, which is, totally possible, that you literally buy every seat in a stadium and you show up to the concert and they're like, yeah, it's sold out, and it's just one dude sitting in the third row, like.
I feel like that would be a hateful thing to do, though.
Right?
Oh,
yeah. Everyone,
like, I love this band so much. I'm going to buy all their tickets so nobody else can see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you might as well just construct a rehearsal building stage like how they have in like Nashville, where bands
where you can just
either record or use it to rehearse. Yeah. And then just have them, then just walk in and be like, what? I own the place.
Yeah.
Did you see what was going on with the UFC and the UFC fight that was supposed to happen? I think it's supposed to happen tonight. I don't know if it is or not. Kind of stopped following it.
Was one guy fighting himself? Is that what? Where are you going with this?
I don't know. But so what was happening? It was big name UFC pay-per-view fight already scheduled. Khabib, however you say his last name, and then this coronavirus stuff hits, and they were like, okay, we're not going to be able to do it in the U.S., so I think we're going to do it in UAE, United Arab Emirates. So Khabib flies over to UAE, and then they find out, UAE is locking down. They're not letting people in or out. So he flies over to Russia, where he thinks he'll be able to get out of the country, and then he gets locked down in Russia. And all the time, Dana White, president of the UFC, is saying, we're still doing this. We're going to find a venue. We're going to have this UFC fight. We're going to have a pay-per-view. And turns out, there's no place that's going to host this, right? I mean, the entire world's on lockdown. This isn't just an issue in the United States.
Yeah.
So he finds somebody with a private island and says, we are going to construct an arena on this private island. Before, and this was maybe 2 weeks ago, before the fight date, and we are going to have the fight. We're going to construct an arena on a private island, and we are going to have this UFC pay-per-view. I
feel like this was the scenario of American Ninja Warrior or Mortal Kombat. That's what this is turning into.
Yeah, the whole thing was just like drama, and that's always been, Dana White's always been the drama behind the sport, and you see it with all the pre-fight stuff, and it's not just a mixed martial arts bout, but all the drama that goes into it. You got these guys who are friends who are going to fight, and so you play all this dramatic element, and they hate each other, and they talk smack against each other, and how horrible each other are, and then they fight, and you're like, oh yeah, that was all a show. Sell tickets, right? So I think that UFC fight's supposed to happen tonight. I don't remember. I stopped following when he said they were doing this private island stuff. I was like, okay, I'm out. But yeah,
they should win Antarctica. Last the longest without having to give up.
Yeah, there you go.
Not because of the cold.
Yeah, well, Chael Sonnen was talking on his podcast about it, and I guess at one point in the past they had done something similar. It wasn't the UFC though; it was some other fighting organization where they did this private island thing, and they were bringing people in, and all these fighters were coming, and it was going to be like a day-long event where they had all these different fights going on, but it was like so shoddy that like you're on this octagon out in the sun on the beach. And it's like this cool environment, but it's 100 degrees outside, and the mats are like 120 degrees because the sun's shining right on them. And then it's built on the beach, and so like there's a weak side to the octagon, so you like avoid going to that spot because it like sinks down, and like it's just, the whole thing was silly. It was interesting to listen to. Don't get me wrong, okay, but yeah, crazy what the world to do. Okay, on to my topic. So you've got this Russian theater, opera, whatever it is, doing their performances for one person, and they're streaming online. And it got me to thinking, what is our threshold for what we do? Whether it's things like this, with the staff chat, whether it's the Q&A sessions on Monday, the Friday night videos, the blog posts, so, all of this content that we're putting out, what's the threshold? When do we look at it and say, okay, this is not worth the effort that is being put into it? I'm not asking the question because I think that there's one answer, or that we're at a point where we have to say, okay, I don't think we need to be doing this. But I just found it interesting that they would put together all of this for one person, and started thinking, are we willing to do the same thing?
I think in their case too, with the stream, obviously something has to be monetized because you're not making the money off the seats like in their world. Unless that seat is like, $50,000 or something, maybe that covers part of it, because you've got people who operate lights, you got people who operate sets. I mean, you're talking about a whole crew of people, not just the actors and whoever else that puts that on. So their world's that. In our world, I think, if it's getting down to one person, we've obviously failed already, that we're just reaching that one person. So it would take a certain level, and I'm not really sure what that level would be before. I mean, we would switch things up way, way, way before that point. And we look at just engagement with our streams and our different videos and stuff, and some of the stuff we have switched up already. Like Camden, I know, switched things up with the youth sort of worship thing, because they're now sending them in sort of like how I was doing songs from the crazy chair here for a while until we started doing the stuff that we pre-record at the church. So, I mean, you just gotta kudos to them for adjusting, but I mean, I would be interested on their side of things, not necessarily ours. You know, where's the money coming from? Because those people are still obviously getting paid to be there and run the whole show and do the whole show.
Well, I like to think about it this way. Like, Gabby and I were just talking about this. My cousin's wife, Jenny, is a masseuse, and she's been a masseuse for 13 years. And she can't see patients right now. And so, like, she's having to figure out ways to work out because those muscles are so trained for that, you know, if say 3 months she doesn't do anything, she could lose everything she's worked for, you know. So like for somebody like them that's doing ballet or dancing or those kind of things, I feel like they almost have to perform to keep up their endurance and keep up their, you know, muscles and stuff. And so like for them, it's probably like, I have to do it anyways. So it's like, why not do it for an audience? And I mean, for us, I mean, we've had things that we've done that haven't gotten great views. And I mean, we're going to probably keep doing them until it comes to the point where it's like, okay, let's evaluate this and see if it's really purposeful. But we're not just going to get rid of it and then not do, you know, so like say, Kathy's videos or something like that, the daily videos, you know, they only get like about 25 views a day, average, which isn't bad at all, but we could use our resources for something better. And so it's like, okay, well, let's drop that kids content. That doesn't mean we're going to drop it all together. It just means we're going to find another way to do it where hopefully more people would engage. And I mean, that's the problem is we're in such a new territory here,
right?
That, you know, it's like, well, you know, what do we do to get these kids engaged throughout the week? Because they're not having Awana, they're not having kids church, or, you know, some people aren't having life groups because they don't have internet, or they're not in a life group, or their life group's not doing Zoom, you know, so it's like, there's so many factors.
Definitely hard.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and even you, I mean, your
perspective, it's hard.
Your youth engagement hasn't been great either, you know, and it's like, which is
hard.
Which is funny because, you know, like you think about the youth generation and you think about media. And so like, why wouldn't they be on their phone, and why wouldn't they be wanting to, but then you're like, okay, well, they're not. So it's like, why?
It's kind of content oversaturation and just overload right now too, anyway, with everybody doing like everything. Like, it was cool. My girls just watched, the other day on the Star Wars Instagram, Daisy Ridley read a kid's story, and then Anthony Daniels did one too, and they were just like, "Oh, that's he's doing the voice, the C-3PO voice," you know, that kind of thing. So there's stuff that's out there that's like, I think that's what we're running into, is like, well, there's this over here, and I'll check this out later, and then it's like, well, maybe I'll check it out a little later yet, and they're just kind of kicking it down the road a little bit. But oh, hi Sally.
Oh yeah.
Just saw she. Hi Alex.
Yeah,
I think it's just a place of constant evaluation. Is like, that's the territory we're in. Is like, no matter what happens. Like, I mean, you think CDC, like, you just think of everything. There's a new policy for the hospital. There's, you know, like, I think everywhere and anywhere is just reevaluating what's the next bet. Like, what. Because we're literally in the middle of a curve, in the middle of like learning how to manage the situation we're in, because we never really expected to be in this situation.
Yeah, it's just kind of like because we, like, I mean, we're constantly looking at numbers and looking at engagement and looking at, because I mean, so like on a certain Sunday, if say we have 100 people viewing, and normally we'd have this many people in the sanctuary and this many people in the children's ministry. We can't see those numbers. We see screens. And so it's like technically Gabby could be watching at my house with 30 people, which is obviously not possible, but like one screen, one number could be 30 people watching, or it could be one, and you never know. And so you could have 250 people watching and then it be 3,000 people, or you could have 250 people watching and it's only 250 people. And so it's all about that. I mean, yeah, we're kind of in this. We've been doing the same thing for, what is it, 3 weeks now? I don't even know. Too much.
I think we're 4 weeks in.
Yeah, I think
This is like the fourth week, maybe.
Yeah.
But so, like, we've been doing the same thing for 4 weeks now, and so we're kind of getting into the evaluation time where it's like, okay, we are most likely going to be in this for another however many weeks. So now we need to reevaluate: are all these things purposeful? What things should we drop? What things should we replace? And I mean, we're kind of in like business, like creator statistics right now, just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So
Yeah, I think it's hard for us personally though too, because we have the gospel at the forefront of what we're doing and why we're doing things, and we don't ever want to sell that short, and we don't want to ever give enough opportunities for that, and so it's like it's just really hard. I think it's just really difficult to figure out the balance of that, and are we reaching people and engaging people, and okay, so a number is 25, but that's 25 people that heard the gospel and could have had their lives changed. But,
yeah, and that's exactly my thought of it too. It doesn't matter how much work you put in, how much time it takes, how much effort, how many people are helping. At the end of the day, if you reach one person with the gospel, then it was all worth it.
Yeah. I mean, Matthew 18:10, right? You leave the 99 behind to find the one sheep, and I think that goes quite the distance.
Yeah. Well, and that's Tim's philosophy too. Is if we can reach the one person, that's what matters. And so, like, one of the things that Facebook is working on right now that's still in beta is a way to stream via phone, and be able to have like people call in and listen to the sermon, because there's a few people in our church that don't have internet. And so, like, those kind of things, like if we can get those eventually, those things could make like us better. And even after this, those people that if they're homesick or whatever, they'd be able to call in, which is great. And I think that's one of the cool things that is coming out of this, is a lot of the technological advances of things and ways people are shifting things to make it work better.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago with the creativity from artists and musicians and things like that. And we're seeing it in technology as well, and all the moms who are learning how to cut their kids' hair. And Gretchen cut my hair for me, and then I've been wearing a hat all day. But I think that's important. And I think even things like what we're doing here tonight, even if there wasn't a high level of engagement on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, I think this stuff is helping us as a staff stay connected and grow closer together and learn more about each other and how we think. And I think, all of this happened at such a unique time for us, for Cross Church, especially for me coming in. It was just a couple of Sundays in between when I got there and when all this happened, and then my first official start day was the day that the governor of Illinois said, "Hey, guess what? You guys can't hang out anymore." I think this stuff has great value to it, and it's hard to even measure what the value of something like that is. We look at, okay, well, how many people watched it? Well, that's not where we're getting the most value. It's not by people who watched it. Even as you mentioned with the sermon, we can look at the number of devices that watched it, but that doesn't tell us how many people we connected with.
Yeah.
And so we look at, okay, who's engaging, who's commenting, who's talking, who's carrying on the conversation. And I think that's a much harder number to track, but I think it's worth doing. So,
yeah, a lot of it depends on the individual too. Like Gabby was saying, like she loves that celebrities are doing that stuff, but I mean, Star Wars and Disney, and a lot of it will come down to the individual's choice, just as accepting the gospel and accepting Jesus Christ is. each decision is that vital. Either you're walking towards him or you're walking a little further away from him at any given time. And Kate there asked if we're planning on keeping anything after quarantine is over. And we'll just have to see. I mean, this is kind of cool here because not only like are we connecting, but the people that are on here are getting to know us a little bit, you know, and our hearts hopefully show for Jesus and everything within all this that we're talking, we're hanging out, and hopefully it's bringing some comfort and some, you know, conversation for some people that aren't really getting that and really wanting that. But like on a Sunday morning, I'll try and stop and talk to some people, but I feel like it almost at times where it's like, imagine someone working at the, you know, like Olin or something in like a factory, and someone coming in while they're moving the like DTAT or something at his work. He's moving those big, heavy, like 300 slats or whatever, and someone's trying to talk to him during it. I'm kind of like, I try to stop, but it's just Sundays just keep going and going and going with those two services. So not much time for me in between. But so this is good. I really enjoy getting to know.
Yeah, my vote's to keep this for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I know one of the things
with a cool table and some microphones in front of us.
Yeah, like the Q&A, we definitely plan on keeping, just because that's, you know, interaction with Tim, and this will probably evolve too. You know, because it's like we have other staff, but like this is a way for people to kind of get to know us. You know, make us a little more approachable, or whatever, without like, you know, physically having to talk to us or whatever. But so like this kind of, you know, this kind of thing, or, you know, even some of the Tim content, like the Q&A, because, you know, a lot of times people don't get to interact with him a ton. And so it's a way for him to be accessible to people and be able to, you know, answer some questions and things like that. Even if you're in a chat, you know, you're still interacting with us and still talking with us. What were you going to say, Cam?
Yeah, I was just going to say I plan to use, you know, Instagram Live a little more. I've been, you know, enjoying that, and it's been really nice, you know. So
yeah,
I don't know how I'll do like the segments that I'm like right now. Like I'm doing, I just got a bunch of jelly beans, Bean Boozled, so I'm going to give them out to some of our adults, and then I'm going to share like the screen with them, and we're going to do Bean Boozled beans. But like.
And I miss saying hi to two over there. Sorry. Miss saying hi to Paige and Wesley. They snuck by me.
Oh, yeah.
Ed, my friend Ed just asked where I'm at. I'm sitting out on my back porch. Ed has spent several nights out here with me with a fire and smoking a cigar. He won't smoke a cigar with me, but he'll sit out here while I smoke a cigar.
Yeah, I think this whole thing has kind of given us the ability to like do some new things that we either had put on the back burner due to whatever, or we just never, you know, kind of got around to or never tried. And then we can see what's successful and then be able to kind of carry that on to, you know, the new thing. Cause like I even, you know, cause I was thinking about as I'm editing and stuff at home, I'm like, man, there are so many things that I do at the building on a weekly basis that I don't think about regularly. Even just the trips like to the sanctuary from my office and things like that. You know, whether that's music or adjusting something or, you know, all those things. And it's just kind of like, wow, like you never realize how many other things you do in your day until you're not there. You know, because like editing now, I'm just editing all the time. Is basically what I'm doing. So,
yeah, for sure. It's crazy to think about, but I am excited to see what stays and how we do church and how that evolves. And
yeah,
so I need my charger.
A lot of fun.
Hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
So my topic is kind of it's another kind of thing like I did last week. But so I've been thinking about, you know, technology a lot lately, and for I don't know how many months or a year now, I can't remember. I put screen time on my phone and only allowed an hour for social media. And so my question is, so you had your phone and like ignore the normal apps like the message app, that kind of stuff. Or like obviously we have to have like a church, like our church stuff. But so if you only were able to have 3 extra apps on your phone, what would those be for you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just based off what I use the most, I'll probably go with
TikTok.
TikTok. For sure, TikTok. Probably YouTube and probably my like authenticator. So for like logins, stuff like that, to where when I log into it, I have to hop into the app to get the authenticator for it for security. So it's kind of a lame one for the third one, but I guess all of them are pretty lame if you really think about it.
Yeah, I can't do the TikTok thing. I can't. I like to laugh at people's TikTok videos when they share them to Facebook, but I can't dive into the app. It scares me.
Yeah, I've been trying to post on it a little more, just because I know like a lot of students are doing that, so and they're seeing it, and so I'm trying to be on it. But I also follow it for food and the funny TikToks.
Yeah.
Looking at mine. So go ahead, John.
Sorry. I'm in my Bible reading plan through the app, and if we're not counting the Bible app as a given, I would keep the Bible app.
You can say that's a given.
Or whatever. Okay.
I
good.
count it as a given. I just want to say.
Okay. All right. Well, because I'm finally on track with my Bible reading. I'm not behind anymore, which is nice. And I'm going to keep up with that. But so I'm on my Clash of Clans every day, but that is merely because I'm on quarantine and it's a time suck. Like it just kills time for me. But I like killing time with it. So, and then Facebook. And those are really like the only apps I'm using other than like my camera and photos. Yeah, I can't even think of a third one. My bank app, maybe. So, all right, Eric, you're up.
Instagram, YouTube, Metronome. Done.
Yeah, not even a discussion. Like that's it.
No, I was looking at all my apps and I was like, yeah. All those.
It's I don't know if you can see this, but like I've got folders. So like I've got way too many apps.
Clean.
Mine just uploaded straight to Clash of Clans. Yeah, mine's not even clean. It's just
mine's super clean. I've got folders.
There's my hot wife though.
Oh, nice. Well, so first I got to think about what are the things that I can get on just a web browser, so like things like Reverb, which probably shouldn't be on anyways, but
dude, I haven't even looked at that. That's a good point.
Good choice.
Like, there's no point. I get notifications. I'm like, shut up, Reverb.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, Reverb is a used music equipment site. So literally Eric and I, well, it's been a while, but like 6 months ago, it was like, oh, I saw this like
and Nate and Christian and Brian and
everyone feeding the pedal addiction, if you want to call it that. So for me, it'd probably be Clash of Clans. And honestly, I mean, I'm on TikTok way too much, but so it'd probably be that. And then I think I could do without Facebook on my phone, honestly. It might be for me, which is super nerdy. Oh dear. I have an app called MTG Trades, which is for Magic the Gathering, and it basically tells me all the price lists of all the cards, and so I feel like I have
That's
to
an
keep
important one.
because it's got all my lists of things in there, and you know. But yeah, I mean, I could probably do without everything else.
What about your? Don't you have an app for your movies?
Oh crap!
Yeah, that's.
Oh no.
You can't get that on the internet, can you? You can't get that on a browser, can you?
I can get the database on the browser, but I can't. Okay, well, it's got to be the My Movies app then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang. All
I
right,
am,
well.
I am kind of liking Instagram a little bit less as of late though, because now they're throwing in the sponsored and ads and stuff like more like how Facebook did and what I was annoyed with Facebook with. But like YouTube, on there, I have like playlists and stuff on there that I practice to, and it's just nice to have that around at any given time. I have my phone like in the bathroom when I'm taking a shower, so I can listen to music, and then the metronome, obviously, for practice purposes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
looks like Paige said Facebook, Snapchat, and Spotify. It's a good choice. Gotta have music. And then Gabby said Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
I was thinking about music like that.
Yeah. Well, the music, the iTunes, like the music app already comes on the phone. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Use that. Yeah.
Like, because I have Apple Music, and that's like.
Well, you also have, I mean, if you have YouTube too, you could watch that. But
sure.
I have not been watching anywhere near the amount of YouTube I used to watch during this whole thing, which is weird.
Other than that family doing separate ways video that I sent you.
Yeah. Or like some of the stuff that Jimmy Fallon's been releasing has been really good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. All right, who's got a topic next?
Mine's like in question form, so I can go. I kind of did what I did last time, but a little different.
Okay. Well, how about you? I liked yours. I liked wrapping up with yours. So
okay.
Oh, you didn't like mine? Wow.
Yeah. No, I like yours too. Okay, so I'm gonna screen share with y'all. I don't know. Hopefully this works. So I'm gonna minimize this. Oh
You
wait,
should be able to share just the page that you're looking at.
really?
I think so. Maybe.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Can you see that?
Oh no.
So, our adventures today. That is my daughter, Avery J. Lewis.
Covered in poop.
And she is covered in poop.
Oh my!
Yeah. So
The look on her face.
and of course I had to like stop and take a picture, right?
Oh yeah.
Of course. So
you need that for later.
yeah. So what happens is she has to go to the bathroom. I put her on the toilet, and she is like at that point in age that like insists that I leave. And so is like shushing me. She's like, shh, out. And so I'm like, okay, I'll give you some time. I'll give you some space. I walk away. I was like, just let me know when you're done. So I'm in the kitchen. I'm just doing whatever, dishes, cleaning up.
That's what Gabby sees.
Yeah. And I hear, I'm done. And I turn around the corner and her legs are brown. Her hands are brown. Like, there's poop on the floor. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with you right now.
Bath.
So, like,
Did you make it through this okay? You weren't like gagging or anything? Or?
I didn't gag a single time, actually. Kind of crazy.
Fatherhood.
But seriously, I don't know how that works, because any other time I would throw
Just
like
yeah.
that, for sure. I have such a weak stomach.
I have to say, last week I successfully embarrassed Hannah a lot. And so as I was like getting out my laptop for this tonight, she was like, please don't embarrass me. I will not be able to top that, Cameron. So good job. That's awesome. Oh.
Gabby said this is the scene from Daddy Daycare.
Yeah. So hang on, dude.
I missed.
Spot on. That's a good shout. Wow.
So basically, my question is: do you guys have any crazy cool stories. I don't know if that's cool, but anything crazy. I realize some of us have been in fatherhood longer than others, so maybe have some cool stories. Funny stories. Let's put it that way. Funny stories, because that was not cool at all. Like,
Yeah.
it was awful, and like my house smelled like poop for like an hour afterwards. I'm like lighting candles and stuff. And, it was bad.
Yeah.
Couldn't do the bath because they just make poop water. So I'm like throwing her in the shower. It was crazy.
So I shared my butter story during Hot Ones, which everyone will get to see. And I don't know that I shared it well because my mouth was on fire at the time. But when Hannah was about 2 or 3 days old, less than a week. It was just a couple days old. We had brought her home from the hospital, and we were getting ready to move. Our house was mostly packed up, and we were leaving South Carolina. I was going to Korea, and so we're at home, and Gretchen has Hannah on her lap, kind of laying on her back, legs up towards her chest. You know how you do with babies. And I was in the other room playing games on the computer. I don't remember what game I was playing, but Hannah had a dirty diaper, and Gretchen decided to change her while she was laying on her lap like that, and Hannah pooped again. But like the way that she was sitting caused Gretchen's chest and stomach to become a ramp for the poop, and so she pooped, and it went all up Gretchen, all in her face.
Oh.
And I'm in the other room playing on a computer, and so she's got like poop on the edge of her mouth, and she's like trying to yell for me to come in there and not get poop in her mouth. And she's like yelling, and I'm like, "Oh, hold on, I'll be in there in a second," because I'm playing a computer game. And then when I finally come in and see what was going on, I just fell over laughing.
Yeah.
I should feel horrible. I should feel like a horrible husband and a horrible father, but I don't. It was just too funny. So,
Oh man,
they're in the other room listening to this right now, and I can hear them. It's funny.
There's a delay. They're getting to it. Let's see. Probably, I think the funniest one for us was, so during church, Rosalind goes to the whatever, I don't know whatever room it is, maybe downtown one, I don't know, but so she'll go in there, and then during second she'll go into my office with Gabby and just kind of hang out. And there was one Sunday where Gabby was changing her diaper, and she was doing something, and so Rosalind got up. She like walked over like a couple carpet squares, squatted down, and just peed on my floor. So it's just like, it was like, what the heck? The only other one that's funny is she was, I don't know, maybe like a month old or something, and we were changing her diaper, and she pooped on my hand from like 3 feet away, which good aim, but was not enjoyable.
Impressive.
But yeah, the squatting pee story is the funnier one, because she just didn't care. Gabby said she knew what she was doing.
Eric's just sitting over there like, I'm staying out of this.
Dude, I got nothing. I'm like, I've had it pretty like decent with that. Like,
you've got 3 kids, you've got to have something.
The only time I remember is like just one time when I was changing Weston's diaper when he was little. It was the, hurry up and cover back up, because it was like going like everywhere.
Yeah.
That's about it. I've been pretty fortunate.
You're a lucky man.
Gabby said she made eye contact with me the whole time. I don't know if I knew that part of the story.
That's when she was squatting on the floor, right? When she squatted and peed. Not when she pooped on you from across the room.
Yeah, because it was, I had come to my office to do my normal stuff on a Sunday, like put the pictures in the computer and stuff, and she's like, she just walked over there and squatted and peed on the floor. I was like, great.
So I don't have a restroom one, but I sent Tekla up there to ask Teresa if there was any like funny ones, and it was another Weston story. of where he was at daycare, and he got a scraped knee like a little while ago, and then they went outside for second recess, and he fell back down again, and he saw he had another scrape, and he starts like bawling, and he goes, "Not another boo boo!" Like really, really loud.
Yeah. The only one I can think of Weston is when it was, what was it, show and tell or whatever, and he was like, or no, maybe it wasn't show and tell, but he was telling his class like, remember that time when my friends came over?
Yes.
Wes would totally. He is like, if you've ever seen that Chris Farley skit off of Saturday Night Live, where he's like, remember when you were in the, but he would like draw it out, and he had this thing where he thought everybody could see everything that he was doing, and so he would tell people stories that they weren't even there for,
as if they were there. Yeah.
I blame social media for that. But
all right, I guess, what's your topic, Eric?
oh, okay, we're up to me. I didn't know.
Yep.
So we've got, last time we had this or that. This time we got favorites and firsts. So kind of rapid fire here. We'll go Adam, Cameron, John, me. Okay, favorites. Color.
Green.
Green.
Black.
Oh yeah.
Red.
Emo.
I got red.
Maybe purple.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody play there at home too. We need some
Gabby said blue.
favorite colors. Yeah. Okay.
See if anyone else.
We got another green.
Green.
Nice. We'll keep going here. Here's another rapid fire. Superhero.
Green Lantern.
Oh dang.
Green and Green Lantern, huh? I see a pattern.
Superhero. Pass for now.
It's the slowest rapid fire I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
I'm thinking like Bible Man.
Just don't think.
Okay.
Captain America.
Flash.
You got Flash.
Flash.
Flash
Okay.
is good. I like that. Captain America.
Captain America and
Batman.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Big Spider-Man fan. Got lots of comic books from back in the day.
I mean, I guess technically Green Lantern is my favorite superheroes. If you want to go that far.
There you go.
Dang, that was so hard.
Yeah, if you want to
Martian Manhunter.
If you want to say
Wolverine. Nice.
Martian Manhunter? Yeah. My
Yeah.
favorite Green Lantern is Guy Gardner, specifically, if you want to go with what's my favorite superhero.
All right, we're getting way too deep into this, guys.
We are.
Martian Manhunter.
Hey, just stick with Bible Man.
Okay, next one. Here we go. Cereal.
Oh no.
Don't think.
It's between Raisin Bran Crunch and Lucky Charms.
Good choices.
Captain Crunch.
Fruity Pebbles.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch for me. Let's see if we get anybody on that one. What's your favorite cereal, everybody? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There we go.
Corn Pops.
Corn Pops. Ooh, gross.
Peanut Butter Captain Crunch. Lucky Charms. Good
Sorry,
job,
Kate.
Kayla. Tony said Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
I've never heard of that cereal.
But in Ant-Man, Ant-Man's not the best character in Ant-Man. Louise is.
Oh man, yeah.
His storytelling abilities is amazing.
That dude is gold. And just that's a good supporting actor, as is Spider-Man's friend, his best friend.
Yes.
Like that dude's so like awesome.
Jessica, are you saying you don't like cereal at all?
Or superheroes.
Or
No, she
Corn
said Batman up here.
Oh.
Oh no.
I don't know.
I don't know that
All
cereal. Does
Crave.
I've never heard of Crave.
is that by Nabisco? Was it?
Did you just come up with a random brand?
Okay, here's one. Favorite childhood show.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we talking like kid, right?
Yeah. your kid toy era.
Oh, that probably would have been Zoids.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Mine would be either Justice League,
Mm.
which is where Martian Manhunter comes in, or probably, probably Power Rangers or Beetleborgs.
Beetleborgs. Yeah.
He's really not good at this.
Dude,
He's just listing the entire Saturday lineup. Of,
Angry Beavers, All Real Monsters.
Hey Arnold, like
Boy Meets World.
There's too many good ones.
you got Boy Meets World?
that's a great.
Nice. I'm going with He-Man.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Date me there.
Thundercats.
Yeah. I'm Thundercats.
Dukes of Hazzard for Ed. Good job, Ed.
All right.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Favorite salad dressing. Oh, wait a minute. Let's read some of these. Let's read some of the responses over there. We got Doug. We got Blues
Full House.
Sailor Moon.
Doug was a great show. I loved Doug.
Mhm.
All that.
Fraggle Rock. Oh man, good
classic.
job.
Doug was a good show.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Should've used that
I'm
as-
surprised you didn't say Muppets.
Can that be found online anywhere? Like, where can I watch Doug?
I'm
Nickelodeon.
sure it's on something. Rugrats.
Man, I don't know.
Nickelodeon.
That's pretty good.
Something.
Yeah.
I respect that one.
Favorite salad dressing. Honestly, I'm not really a fan.
Oh. I was like, why is Alex saying
yeah.
her favorite TV show is Blue
It's
Cheese?
blue cheese. I
She
would
meant
probably
Blue's Clues.
I would probably say ranch or honey mustard, but I'm really not that big of a fan of. It's got to be specific ranch. So like Pizza Man ranch, best.
Yeah, it's like restaurant ranch.
I don't know what Pizza Man ranch is, but like I need it. I need that bottled.
Yeah.
So Pizza Man, if you're watching, you're probably not watching, but bottle me some ranch.
It's like watered down salty ranch.
Yeah.
Watered down and salty, and that's what makes it good.
It's like
Carlos
You
ranch.
guys are horrible.
thinner than normal ranch, and then which is why I would say maybe it's watered down, and then it's just like salty and delicious.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm sorry, Alex, but blue cheese is disgusting.
So
I like blue
I
cheese.
hate it. I hate it so much.
there's Italian. I was waiting for one.
I was waiting for one. What'd you say, Cameron?
Ranch for sure.
Ranch.
Ranch. Okay. Like that poppy seed one. There's
Oh.
like a poppy seed dressing. That one's probably my favorite.
I like
Your
that.
face is disgusting. Nice,
Of
Alex.
course.
I'm with the ranch people. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a ranch person.
Yep, you're all basic.
Okay, now we go to first. First concert.
First concert.
Oh man.
Hmm.
I don't even know what that would have been. Probably it probably would have had to have been something that I would have went to like a youth conference.
Yeah, that's why I'm at.
So I think it would have been Toby Mac.
Toby Mac. That's
Alex, I didn't know you knew of Javier Mendoza. Man.
I think mine would probably be like a Winter Jam,
Yeah.
something along those lines. Is what I would probably.
I think mine would have been the Strength to Stand conference in Tennessee, and they had Toby Mac perform. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Mine would be Van's Warped Tour in 2000.
Ooh.
And I'm looking at the list now to see if like one band particularly pops out to me as like that's who I saw first. And I'm pretty sure it was Sum 41.
Woot.
Dang.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, if I had to pick like a concert that I like went to, like myself, it would be Vans Warped Tour back in 2012 or 2000. Maybe it was earlier than that, but whatever. And then like St. Louis wise, it'd probably be like a For Today Weekends Romans concert.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
the first real concert I went to was Elephant Revival, and that was like really not that long ago. I just don't go to live music very often.
Oh, I
What
love
do we get
concerts.
here? We got Camden with Winter Jam. We got Toby Mac. We got Stevie Nicks. Yeah.
Ooh, that's dope.
Winter Jam. Never been to one.
You're telling me you didn't go see Green Day at Warped Tour 2000?
I did see Green Day, but they were not on first. Warped Tour is an all-day thing. You get there
yeah.
and you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But so I was looking through the lineup, and OAR was on the lineup in 2000, and I did not see them.
Ooh.
And that's my favorite band.
Yeah, Less Than Jake. Ooh,
Less Than
AFI.
Jake was really good. AFI was good.
Always there, man. They're
Flogging Molly. Oh, yeah.
I
I remember
that's when
yeah.
punk was really big for Vans too. Like that was probably a great time to be.
Papa Roach.
Yeah. In like 2003, I went to Warped Tour twice, once in St. Louis and once in Denver. That was an awesome year for it.
Do you know Katy Perry played at Warped Tour?
Really?
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas. Black Eyed Peas are on Warped Tour 2002.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s or something.
Oh, Planet Smashers. Some good old.
Texas Terry. There's some awesome stuff on here.
There's a lot of ska in this.
We got For King and Country as an answer. We got For Him.
For him. Yep.
Yeah. Agape Fest. Another King and Country.
Classic Christian. Oh, Agape.
Carmen or DC Talk for Gretchen.
Oh man, I wish I would have seen DC Talk.
The Petra.
Tim would love to talk to you, Ed. Welcome to Petra.
Ed's awesome. You'd love Ed.
Big on Petra.
Mine was in 1989. I was 9 years old, and it was at the old St. Louis Arena that is no longer there where the Blues played. It was Billy Joel.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Quite the show. I remember that he came on for 2 encores. And also that I did not like going to eat first because the subwoofers were affecting me. That was my first experience with subwoofers, and I did not like it.
Yeah, they'll get your stomach.
Okay, here's a kind of a different one. First lake you remember swimming in. What's the first lake you swam in?
Table Rock.
Mine is Indiana Beach.
Ooh.
Rend Lake.
Rend Lake. And mine would most likely be Gillespie Lake. Although I would want to say Litchfield Lake, Blue Jaeger, but I think we went to Gillespie Lake when I was really young. Okay, first album you bought.
I
That
actually know.
That you bought.
That I bought?
That you bought specifically.
Like even, what if it was given to me? Does that not count?
You had to
I purchased
go
it.
out and say, I want this album, I'm gonna get it.
It probably would have been. It's one of the Linkin Park albums. Hold on, let me check.
Meteora, that was a good one. I bought that one.
So Meteora was my first. Okay, yeah, Meteora was my first actual CD, which was given to me. But my first album that I bought, I'm not sure. Let me go through my music library.
Yeah, see, I'm with Alex. I have to remember which cassette tape it was. Because it was, she said Spice Girls cassette tape.
Cameron, you're up. Adam's passing. He's going to check his music library.
He's Googling.
It's going to take me a while.
Yeah.
I think Cameron's getting attacked.
She's got a straw and she's blowing in my ear.
In your ear.
Yeah.
My first one was Limp Bizkit's $3 bill, y'all.
So I think it was, hey, will you go sit down, please?
The Titanic soundtrack by Gretchen there. Or Brandy.
It would either be, if it was bought, I believe it would be American Idiot, Green Day. But I think I bought The Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot before that. I think I bought that one. It's between the two of those.
Okay, so
I still listen to that one. That was a great album.
It's a great album.
It was Meteora because I was given Hybrid Theory, so it was Meteora.
Nice.
That was correct.
I purchased both of those at Best Buy. I remember them very well.
My first one on cassette tape that I bought with my own money was Sister Hazel, their first album. Because I had just, let's see, we had just met them up at the state fair. They were hanging out at one of the tents that my friend Chris, who's now in Miles Station, with me, and I got a picture with him and everything. So it was kind of like I had my own money because I had my job by then, and I was up there and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy a CD or cassette, as it were." Yeah.
That's cool.
And then, okay, so we don't have to name the names here, but what was the first pet you had? Was it a, like, just in general, cat, dog?
Cat.
Dog.
I think it was a dog. We didn't really do pets.
Didn't really?
I don't know. Wiley.
Mine was a dog. Alex was a horse. Mine was a dog.
Wow, Alex living it up. She's got a horse.
Wow.
Mm.
Because
Yeah,
I think
technically-
that's correct, because my dad, I believe, had the dog before we got the cat. The cat that actually lived 19 years.
Holy cow.
So
Mine
my
might have been
first
fish.
my
Here's
first
the
cat
fish.
was my mom's cat. So
I mean, that counts if there was already
yeah.
a pet around. Whatever.
Yeah,
I
like
think
she had had Smokey for a long time. I don't remember how long.
Dude, I had a cat named Smokey.
the dog's name was Samson. So that was kind of funny. He was Samson. That's why I enjoy that one so much.
And then Wesley comes in with Snake, of course.
There you go.
That's freaky.
Dog named Snoopy.
A dog named Slick.
Nice.
I've heard about the dog named Slick.
Maybe Wesley's dog's name was Snake.
No, Wesley had a snake.
Oh, okay. All right.
His brother might be taking care of it now. I don't know.
And
He should let it out.
the last one is the first carnival you remember going to. Throwing it back. Adam, did they take you out in the sun when you were?
I only ever remember, as far as a carnival goes, I would say, I mean, we used to go to one down at Salem Bory, I think, around there, because my dad used to play at it. So I've been to a lot of different carnivals because my dad's band would play at a lot of them. But the one that I really, I guess, remember was going to the St. Clair County Fair one year. And then my older sister took me to the dirt track race, which I'd never been to one before, which was a terrible experience because they all smoked cigarettes there, and it was like literally the air. But I mean, it was enjoyable, but that was really, I guess, the bigger one. But I used to go to like the smaller things all the time, that like, because there was always a Catholic church like little festival that they always had that we used to go to, that my dad would always play at, and so that's really the one that I guess I remember the most, that just had some of those like typical carnival game kind of things, and so just run around and basically blow money because you don't ever win.
Exhaust fumes and cigarettes. Can't do
Yeah.
it. Mine would probably, I mean, I'd have to just go with the Macoupin County Fair for sure. I think that's, being here, growing up here, that's what I remember the most.
Mm-hmm.
So in O'Fallon, back when it was a lot smaller than it is now, we had 3 fairs a year. We had Mayfest every year in May. We had Homecoming and Fireman's Picnic. And it would have been one of those 3 because anytime there was a fair, my parents would go and hang out with their friends and drink. And my sister and I, they would buy us the ride bracelets or whatever, and we would just go on ride rides for like the entire night. I mean, I remember being like 6 or 7 years old and running around the fair by myself, just riding rides and playing games. So I was young.
Ooh, Lions Carnival. That's that.
You got some
Yeah,
lions.
Gabby said that too. Yeah.
Just running around by myself doing carnival games. Lions Carnival.
Baldwin Days in St. Louis. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
I also went to I don't know if it's technically a carnival, but I don't even remember what it's called. It's whenever they have like the Blue Angels fly over down in St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
Like the VP fair.
Yeah, VP Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love the VP fair.
Yeah, and then the other big event that I can remember when I was a kid was the just like some of the parades down in Belleville, but those aren't really technically fairs.
Camden wants to know if you were talking about O'Fallon, Illinois, or Missouri.
Illinois.
Illinois for sure. Yeah.
No, Gretchen.
We don't go to Mo Fallon.
What is that, Jessica? Albion area fair?
Albion area.
Albion?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Lincoln County Fair.
If I had to guess, it's probably in the Albion area. I'm just kind of
never heard of Albion. So
Yeah.
I'll be on later.
So mine is kind of like the dual answer as well, like kind of where John has, and it would have been coming up, but I mean, social distancing and all that has kind of put a wrench in all that. There was Italian American Days, which always happens the last weekend of May, and then the next weekend, if it's not like a weird like half week or something like that, is they move the whole carnival just up to Gillespie. So you have Italian American Days, and then you have Black Diamond Days, like pretty much back to back. So if that hit right, you would get like 2 weeks of carnival, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jessica said that Albion is in Pennsylvania.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, so this makes
the only thing in Pennsylvania is Scranton.
That's right.
So just a random last thing. What's one of your earliest memories? So like mine is the I can't remember what parade. One of the parades in Belleville, and I remember sitting in a stroller and seeing a clown walk by. Like that's like literally my earliest memory. I think I was like 3 or 4. So like what's one of the things that you remember like from early on that you would say is your first memory? Just
oh man, I don't know how old I was.
Jeez, Alex. I mean, I guess you'd remember if that's a pretty traumatic experience.
Is that what happened? Did the horses start that fire? Is that what happened?
A horse kicked over a lantern and started the barn on fire.
No, see what happened was the horse kicked a jar of pickles into the ocean, which then turned into.
We've gone full circle.
Then it fermented and became something that could be lit on fire. Oh, jeez.
Mine would probably have to be when I was like 3 or 4. We had I think it was Christmas. It had to have been Christmas, but like my grandmother got all of the grandkids packs of Pokemon cards, like original Pokemon cards, first started coming out. And I remember all of us running upstairs into one room, just opening our packs.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Right. That's probably the earliest I go.
I struggle with earliest memories because I don't know if I remember them or if I've just heard them so many times that I think I remember them. But I either heard or remember being very young, like 2, and going down a water slide at Lake of the Ozarks. And there was like a net on the bottom to catch me, and the net broke.
Oh.
And my mother's friend jumped in to pull me out of the water. I don't know if I remember that or if I've been told so many times that it feels like a memory.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's hard for me to decipher which one is the earliest, actually.
Yeah.
Because I can tell my parents the layout of every single house that we've ever lived in. There's one in Beneld that we only lived in until I was either like 2 or 3. Like I remember, I don't know when it was, we were in that house, and I remember there was one time that my grandpa was watching me, and I went down for my like afternoon nap, and when I got up, I was so upset because I had missed He-Man. I remember that. There's another crazy story though, where mom says, I don't remember how old I was, but she was like, no, you were still like in diapers at the time. So apparently I'm at my grandma's house. So I'm at my grandma's house playing in the backyard there. My aunt's supposed to be watching me or whatever. And so apparently, so I'd stayed there all Saturday night. This was Sunday morning. And I decide, for whatever reason, little Eric, to just walk back down to my house in Beneld, which my grandma is still in Beneld and lives by pretty much like catty corner to TJ's. Like when you go like right off Route 4, she's like the second house, like right there. And our house was down 4 blocks by the park. So apparently I go to the front, walk down the sidewalk, walk all the way down there. And I remember as I was getting, I wasn't upset for whatever reason, but I remember there was one of those big old cars, like the Oldsmobiles that had like the wooden siding and stuff on it. And some dude was like, they were like slowing down and like looking, because obviously they saw this kid who was like,
not
where's the kid supposed to be? And I remember waving to him and just kept walking. And then I get in the back door and I just start like crying or whatever. And my parents were on the phone because they down there had called him and said that they couldn't find where I was. So that was kind of one of my earliest adventures.
That's crazy.
Gabby said my dad had some sort of throat/neck surgery, and he was trying to get me to sit on his lap when he got home. I was terrified. Wesley said shooting guns on a mountain somewhere, or a rodeo in Arizona. Can't remember. And then Kate said seeing the movie Prancer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we've talked for 80 minutes now.
Wow. I like how we first did this. It was like 42 minutes, and now it's just like going up by 10 minutes every single time. It's like
journey, long journey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. We would love.
Oh, there's my cousin there.
Yeah, sounds like an exciting adventure. We'd love to hear some of the things that you guys have liked or not liked out of all the content that we've been putting out. As we talked about earlier, we're kind of reevaluating everything. So whether you send us a message or maybe we'll make a post in a few days or something, but we'd love to know like what you're loving, what you're not liking, that kind of stuff. So let us know, and that'll help us kind of evaluate, because, we're at least going to be in this for, I don't know, a couple more weeks, but now that they've canceled school, who knows what's going to happen. So, thank you guys for joining us and watching, and we will catch you on the next one. See you guys later.
Bye.